The user registration settings is the section where you'll add all of the information you need to capture from users when they register for your call. As there's quite a few settings in here, I'll walk through them slowly. Now the first section we come to here is the registration fee section. Now should you require a fee for your call, you can set that up here. Calls typically operate in one of two ways. The first, you'll set up a registration fee here, and that would require your users to pay the registration fee before they can submit entries into your call. So they would pay a one-time fee to register, and then you can say they could submit 1, 2, 3, 4, however many submissions you would limit them to. The second method is where you leave the registration fee off and instead charge a submission fee. So they would be able to register for free, but each submission they submit into your call, they would pay the individual submission fee. So whichever way your call needs to be structured, you can set that up. Now I'm going to skip this section for just a moment, and we'll come back to it in a second. Now the first section here underneath the fees section are the user registration fields. Now when a user registers for your call, they automatically have to provide their first name, last name, and email address. Apart from those three pieces of information, you can capture whatever information you need from your users. So I'm just going to show you a few of the settings here and how they work. So I'm going to toggle on, let's say, the phone number and the state. And then I'm going to come down here and update my users registration settings. And I'm going to switch over to the view of what your users would see when they register for your site. So I'll switch over here to this browser. So let's say a user comes to your call site to submit entries. They click the register button to get started. And notice they have the first name, last name, email, and password. And then here's the phone number and state they would now enter. If I come back over and let's say I want to change a few of those settings, I'm going to toggle, maybe I want to their address and I also want their user biography. I'll come down here and update the registration fields again, switch over to their view and refresh, and you can see that those new fields are automatically entered in here. Now just one point, once you start accepting user registrations, you don't want to switch those fields around. Now there's another section in here which is for custom fields. So this list of checkboxes is sort of some of the default information that a lot of calls typically capture from their users. Now these custom required user registration fields allow you to capture any data from your user that's not part of the default setup here. I'll show you a couple examples. Let's say this is an educational institution and they need to capture, let's say, the student number. So I'll just punch in here student number. I'm going to set up this field type as a regular text field, and this can be a hint. I can say enter in your student number, and I'm going to require this field from users. I'm going to go ahead and come down here and update these settings again, and I'll switch back over to the view of the users and refresh here. And you'll now see that the user is represented with another field that says enter your student number here. And they get the hint as well that says enter in your student number. I'm going to switch back and show you a few more complex field types. These custom field types are very powerful. I'll show you the drop-down list. And just for illustration purposes, I'm going to just say here favorite color. And I'll come into here and I'm going to make this a select menu, which is a drop-down list. And I'll say tell us your favorite color. Let's require this field as well. We'll say green, orange, and purple. We'll just do 3 for now, and we'll come down here and update these settings again. And I'll switch back over and refresh this page. And you'll now see that there's a drop-down list that the user has to select from those 3 options. And of course, they do get the hint as well, which tells them what they can do. There's a couple other field types in here. You can definitely play around with these settings. But you can create radio buttons, checkbox, text areas, select menus, all types of things to set up any sort of custom data that you want. And you can do up to 5 of those custom fields.